Hello, and welcome to Strategic Sage, your guide through the hidden world of power, influence, and timeless strategy. Today, we are stepping into the world of Robert Greene's iconic book, The 48 Laws of Power. This is not just a book, it's a manual for survival in a world driven by influence, strategy, and hidden motives. Power shapes careers, relationships, and everyday choices, whether we notice it or not. As you listen, allow these timeless principles to seep into your unconscious mind, guiding you in subtle yet powerful ways. Whether you're wide awake or drifting into sleep, let the essence of these laws become part of your thinking, effortlessly rewiring how you see the world, how you deal with people, and how you carry yourself. Introduction: The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Power is neither good nor evil. It's simply a force, like fire or gravity. The way you use it determines whether it creates or destroys. Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power is one of the most direct, unapologetic, and influential books ever written about the pursuit, manipulation, and defense of power. It does not moralize. It does not sugarcoat. Instead, it lays out a battlefield where power is the prize and the players are all of us. From ancient kings to modern executives, Greene draws from centuries of human behavior to build a manual for those who want to win in a world where control is everything. Whether you're looking to climb the career ladder, influence people, or simply stop being taken advantage of, this book is your blueprint. In Greene's world, power is a game, and like any game, it has players, strategies, and consequences. This summary will guide you law by law, chapter by chapter, with clarity and depth. So take notes, reflect deeply, and prepare yourself to enter the arena of power with your eyes wide open. So sit back and focus. This isn't just a summary, it's a transmission of strategy, drawn from the rise and fall of emperors, seducers, generals, and rulers. Without further delay, let's dive straight into our journey and uncover the essence of these transformative insights. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Power dynamics are delicate. The first and most essential rule is to never outshine the person in power above you. If you make your superior feel inferior, even unintentionally, you risk igniting their insecurity. History is full of stories where subordinates were punished not for failure, but for brilliance. When your light shines too brightly, the master feels overshadowed. And when the ego of someone in power is bruised, no matter how valuable you are, you become a threat. This law isn't about playing dumb, it's about playing smart. Camouflage your ambition. Subtly highlight your strengths only when your superior benefits from them. Flatter their ego, support their narrative, and you'll find favor. Make them look wiser, stronger, more visionary, even if they're not. Power lies not just in your abilities, but in how you present them. In every hierarchy, the one who makes the king feel like a god survives, and even thrives. Master this, and your rise will be smoother, swifter, and safer. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. We blindly trust friends, but in power games that's often a mistake. Friends expect loyalty, overlook faults, and are often driven by emotion. But when power, money, or ambition enters the picture, emotions turn. Friends become envious, entitled, or even betray you. In contrast, enemies are more predictable. They have something to prove. By converting enemies into allies, you gain fierce loyalty and turn a rival into your strongest asset. The key is not to eliminate all friends, but to remain cautious. Don't let emotional bonds cloud your judgment. Use your enemy's ambition as fuel for your plans. If you hire a friend, they may feel comfortable and entitled. But hire an enemy, and they'll strive to prove themselves. In power games, loyalty is earned, not assumed. Learn to use your enemies, and you'll turn weakness into strength, and threats into tools. Law 3. Always hide your true intentions. One of the greatest powers is the power of unpredictability. If people know what you're doing, they can prepare against you. If they don't, they're left guessing. Hiding your intentions makes others miscalculate, drop their guard, and fall into your trap. Never reveal your plans too early, especially if they involve ambition, change, or power. Human nature resists what it doesn't understand. When you mask your goals, people become distracted by your smokescreen. To use this law, say little. Act ordinary and sprinkle harmless distractions. Use decoys, like fake interests, minor goals, or random hobbies, to create a false trail. Meanwhile, quietly move toward your true objective. This isn't about dishonesty, it's about protection. In war, in politics, and in life, showing your hand early invites sabotage. Conceal your intentions until your position is unshakable. Then reveal them with confidence and control. Law 4. Always say less than necessary. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish, reveal your plans, or weaken your position. By being silent or vague, you leave others guessing, and this uncertainty gives you the upper hand. People are drawn to mystery and often interpret silence as strength or intelligence. In contrast, those who talk too much appear insecure or careless, giving others the tools to use against them. When you say little, you control the conversation without seeming aggressive. You become a blank canvas onto which others project their thoughts, fears, and assumptions. This gives you more influence over how people perceive you. Silence also forces others to fill in the gaps, often revealing more than they intended. It's not about being rude or distant. It's about understanding when words serve you and when they betray you. So learn to be comfortable with silence, especially in moments when you're expected to respond. The less you say, the harder it is for people to figure you out. Law 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Your reputation is your most valuable asset. It precedes you and affects how people treat you long before you speak. A solid reputation builds respect, draws allies, and keeps enemies at bay. Once damaged, though, it can be nearly impossible to restore. That's why Greene urges you to guard your reputation like a knight defends his fortress, constantly alert, proactive, and ready to act at the first sign of a threat. So when someone spreads rumors or attacks your image, respond swiftly and smartly, not with emotion, but with strategy. A quick counterattack or public gesture can silence threats before they grow. Greene also says that destroying an opponent's reputation can be just as powerful as protecting your own. But this must be done carefully and with plausible deniability. In the end, your image is a weapon. Sharpen it, defend it, and never leave it unguarded. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. In the power game, being invisible is the same as being irrelevant. To gain influence and stay in control, you must be seen, noticed, and remembered. Greene argues that attention is currency. Those who stand out attract followers, opportunities, and protection, while those who blend in are forgotten or taken for granted. Whether through bold actions, unique style, or controversy, powerful people know how to draw the spotlight without looking desperate. But it's not just about showing off. Strategic visibility means you control your narrative. If you don't define yourself, others will do it for you, and usually not in your favor. By mastering public perception, you build influence that can't be ignored. However, this law also warns against overexposure. Fame can burn too bright and make you a target. You must balance boldness with mystery, making sure your image remains compelling without becoming predictable. The goal is not to scream for attention, but to make sure others can't stop looking at you. Make your presence impossible to ignore. Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Efficiency is power. Why exhaust yourself when others can do the work, and you can benefit from the results? Greene teaches that powerful people build systems where they reap the rewards of others' efforts, ideas, and skills. This isn't laziness, it's leverage. Throughout history, kings, tycoons, and strategists have relied on the labor and genius of others while positioning themselves as the face of success. But Greene warns, you can't simply steal credit or abuse people's efforts. That invites resentment and rebellion. Instead, you must make others feel important while quietly keeping control. Let them shine in small ways, but always ensure the spotlight ends up on you. By surrounding yourself with skilled people and wisely managing their talents, you can achieve far more than you could alone. Just remember, those who do all the work often fade away. Those who appear to make it all happen rise to power. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Power often lies in positioning. When you force others to come to you, you gain control over the terms of interaction. Greene emphasizes that chasing others or reacting to their moves places you in a position of weakness. But when you can lure people into your territory, you set the stage. This law requires emotional discipline. You must resist the urge to pursue or prove yourself. In every game, the player who pulls others in without moving first always wins more. To apply this law, you must learn the art of attraction. Like a fisherman uses bait, you offer people what they want: information, status, opportunity, without revealing your deeper motives. Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Arguing rarely changes minds, it only creates enemies. Greene warns that trying to prove your point with words often backfires. Even if you win the debate, you lose respect. People don't like to feel wrong, and if you embarrass them, even unintentionally, they will resent you. Real power lies in demonstration, not discussion. By showing results instead of explaining them, you become undeniable. This law encourages you to stop relying on persuasion and instead let your actions speak. A brilliant move, a quiet accomplishment, or a strategic win makes people admire and follow you far more than any speech ever could. The more you try to talk someone into your view, the more they resist. But when you act successfully and silently, you create a model others want to imitate or support. You shift from explaining to influencing. The wisest leaders and strategists lead by example, not by lectures. If someone doubts your ability, show them results. If someone resists your idea, act on it and let the success prove your point. This approach doesn't just avoid conflict, it builds reputation. The fewer words you use, the more powerful they become. When action replaces argument, power flows toward you. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Greene warns of a dangerous truth. Emotions and energy are contagious. If you spend time with negative, bitter, or unlucky individuals, their problems will eventually become yours. Their mindset infects your thinking, their failures spill into your space, and their drama drains your focus. This law is not about judging others, it's about protecting your state of mind. Some people seem to attract misfortune, chaos, or failure. Their emotional storms constantly seek new hosts. They'll frame their problems as innocent bad luck or ask for your help, but once you engage, you're caught in their downward pull. Greene calls them infectors, people who carry toxic attitudes, habits, or emotional instability that spreads like a virus. The only cure is distance. Cutting ties early is the most powerful move you can make. Instead, surround yourself with people who are stable, forward-thinking, and emotionally self-sufficient. Your environment shapes your outcomes more than you think. Just as success breeds more success, failure and negativity also multiply. Be alert to patterns. If someone repeatedly brings trouble, excuses, or chaos, protect yourself. Power comes not just from who you attract, but also from who you avoid. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. The surest way to maintain power is to make others need you. If they can function without you, they will. But if you control something essential, information, skill, access, or protection, people won't dare oppose or discard you. Greene emphasizes that dependency breeds loyalty, often more reliably than love, fear, or respect. This law is about building relationships where your absence is a threat. Power built on dependency is long-lasting because it's built into others' structure. Unlike fear, which fades, or authority, which can be challenged, dependency is quiet and sticky. The more others need you, the more cautious they are about challenging or replacing you. Just remember, the goal isn't to exploit others, but to make yourself so valuable that they protect and respect your role without question. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Honesty can be a powerful weapon when used with precision. Greene teaches that a single act of honesty or generosity can cover dozens of manipulations. When people perceive you as sincere, they lower their defenses. Even a small gesture, such as a confession or a gift, can make others trust you deeply. Once that trust is established, you gain influence over them without resistance. This law isn't about being deceptive all the time. It's about using truth tactically. In a world where most people are on guard against manipulation, genuine seeming moments of vulnerability or kindness catch them off balance. A small sacrifice can earn you loyalty or open doors that arguments never could. To use this law well, you must study your environment and choose the right moment. Overuse of honesty dulls its effect. Once people accept you as honest or kind, you gain power not because you are trustworthy, but because they believe you are. In power dynamics, perception is more powerful than truth, and selective honesty is a master key. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. Greene offers a blunt truth. People are far more likely to help you when it benefits them. Appealing to generosity, loyalty, or past favors often leads to disappointment. Instead, show others how helping you serves their own ambitions, pride, image, or success. Power flows to those who understand the psychology of self-interest. This law reminds you, when asking, don't beg, offer value. People are motivated by what they stand to gain. Even when they act kindly, it's often because it aligns with their image or benefits them in some indirect way. Greene advises you to position your requests not as burdens, but as opportunities. The idea isn't to manipulate, but to speak the language of power. Gratitude fades, but gain is remembered. Make your request irresistible by attaching it to the other person's ego, desire, or advantage. In the realm of power, logic and strategy outweigh emotion every time. Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. To master power, you must master information. Greene teaches that knowing what others are thinking, planning, or fearing gives you an enormous edge. But people don't give away their secrets freely, unless they trust you. This law encourages you to blend friendliness with observation, building relationships that allow you to quietly extract useful data. Be warm on the outside, calculating within. Gathering intelligence isn't about prying, it's about listening, watching, and asking subtle questions. Let others speak while you stay quiet and absorb everything. In social settings, people often reveal more than they realize, especially when they feel at ease. You're not trying to hurt them, you're trying to understand the battlefield so you can position yourself better. Information is power, and the smartest players get it without announcing their intentions. This law also protects you from being blindsided. By keeping tabs on others' motives and moves, you avoid betrayal and make better decisions. Just as generals rely on spies before entering war, you must rely on insight before taking action. Never assume loyalty or honesty. Verify it. Whether in business, relationships, or politics, those who see below the surface always win the long game. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. When you defeat someone, don't leave them wounded. Destroy them completely. Greene's Law 15 is one of the coldest but most strategic. A half-defeated enemy will wait, rebuild, and strike back harder. History shows that mercy, when given to a dangerous rival, often leads to future conflict. If you leave them with dignity or power, they'll eventually become a threat again. True power demands finality. This law isn't about violence, it's about certainty. Whether in business, politics, or social battles, once you've outmaneuvered a rival, eliminate their ability to retaliate. That could mean removing their allies, cutting off their resources, or publicly discrediting them. However, you must choose your targets carefully. Crushing the wrong person can backfire and create a martyr. If you strike hard enough that they can never recover. A wounded snake is more dangerous than a dead one. Total victory isn't about cruelty, it's about survival in a world of hidden knives. Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Too much presence breeds familiarity, and familiarity often leads to disrespect. Greene's 16th law teaches that strategic absence makes you more powerful by creating scarcity. When you're always available, people begin to take you for granted. But when you retreat just enough, your value increases in their eyes. Your absence creates mystery, heightens interest, and gives people space to appreciate what they're missing. This isn't about disappearing or going silent out of spite. It's about understanding timing and attention. To apply this law, become more deliberate with your presence. Don't flood people with access. Choose when and how to show up so your energy feels rare and meaningful. If you're always around, you blend into the background. But when your appearance feels earned or limited, others feel privileged just to be near you. Scarcity creates power, and power grows in silence as much as in speech. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Predictability is comforting, but it gives away control. Greene says that when people know your next move, they can prepare against it. But when you're unpredictable, you force others into a constant state of alertness and anxiety. This confusion gives you power. Unpredictability keeps opponents off balance and makes even simple decisions seem dangerous to them. Think of great strategists and rebels in history who defied logic just to shake their enemies. From war generals to poker champions, those who win often do so not with strength, but by throwing off expectations. Change your routine. Surprise with kindness or aggression. Say less than expected. However, this law must be used with balance. The goal isn't chaos. It's psychological advantage. Surprise others when it matters most. Keep your true intentions hidden behind unpredictability, and no one can effectively plot against you. In a world obsessed with control, the wild card often wins. Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Greene warns that isolation weakens you more than it protects you. The instinct to hide when threatened is natural, but in power dynamics, retreating into a fortress cuts you off from information, opportunity, and influence. A secure wall may feel safe, but it leaves you blind to what's happening outside. Power requires connection, movement, and awareness. Throughout history, rulers and organizations that withdrew from the world out of fear eventually fell. Greene argues that you must remain in the center of action, even if it's uncomfortable. Engage with your allies, observe your enemies, and stay present in your environment. Isolation also makes you vulnerable to misinformation and paranoia. You become dependent on rumors or yes men. Instead, position yourself where power flows, among people, conversations, and negotiations. Even when conflict arises, it's better to face it directly than hide from it. In the game of power, distance dulls your instincts. Influence requires proximity. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Everyone is different, and some people are far more dangerous than they appear. This law urges you to assess each individual carefully before acting against them. Greene categorizes people into types. Some are emotional and explode when provoked. Others are calculating and vengeful, while some may be harmless altogether. Misjudging the person you're dealing with can lead to your downfall. History is filled with examples of small slights turning into vendettas because someone underestimated their opponent. A casual insult to a proud subordinate might invite sabotage. A joke made at the wrong person's expense could start a war. Greene warns, don't assume everyone will react rationally. Some will burn down the whole stage just to get revenge. To apply this law, become an observer of character, not just behavior. Learn to see through the masks people wear. Don't confront or humiliate those with fragile pride, and don't challenge a quietly powerful individual unless you're sure you can win. Power is not just about strength, it's about understanding personalities. The smarter player isn't the one who provokes, but the one who picks their battles with precision. Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. One of the most dangerous mistakes in the game of power is becoming too attached to a single side, ideology, or person. Greene advises staying above the fray. Do not commit yourself to anyone, because once you do, you lose your independence and freedom. Power lies in your ability to move, to shift, to make others court you. When you commit, you become predictable and expendable. When you're unattached, you become a prize to be won. This law is especially useful in times of conflict or negotiation. Let others compete for your support. Kings often played rival nobles against each other, never fully siding with anyone. In politics, swinging voters have more power than loyal ones. In business, consultants and freelancers often wield more influence than employees because their allegiance isn't owned. Power gravitates to those who are needed, not owned. That doesn't mean you should be untrustworthy. If you do commit, make sure it's temporary or transactional. Avoid permanent alliances. They tie you down. Power rewards flexibility, and your strongest position is one where you are desired but never dependent. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. Greene reveals a psychological tactic used by history's most cunning players. Pretend to be less intelligent than you are. People love feeling superior, and when they believe you're naive or less capable, they drop their guard. That's when you strike. This law is about creating a false sense of security, lowering others' defenses by playing the fool or acting unsure, when in reality, you're 2 steps ahead. Letting others underestimate you is a power move because they reveal their strategies, underestimate your abilities, and sometimes even show you their weaknesses. This allows you to manipulate, observe, and strike from a hidden position of strength. However, this law requires subtlety. Overplay the fool, and people will genuinely dismiss you or exclude you from important opportunities. The goal isn't to become invisible, it's to appear non-threatening. Use awkwardness, slow speech, or playful ignorance only when it serves a purpose. Let your mistakes disarm the room. Then, when the moment is right, reveal your true intelligence in decisive action. That's when your enemies realize, too late, that you were the master all along. Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. Sometimes fighting back only makes you weaker. When you're overwhelmed, outnumbered, or clearly outmatched, Greene teaches that the wisest move isn't to resist, but to surrender strategically. This doesn't mean giving up forever. It means choosing patience over pride, withdrawing to regroup, and using the illusion of defeat to gain an eventual upper hand. When you surrender, you disarm your opponent's aggression and often gain their overconfidence. History is full of underdogs who survived by submitting temporarily. Ancient dynasties, businesses, and revolutionaries often bowed to greater forces only to re-emerge stronger when the timing was right. It prevents unnecessary destruction and gives you space to watch, learn, and plan. Your enemy may assuming the fight is over. That's when your real power begins to build in the shadows. Practicing this law requires emotional discipline. Pride urges us to fight, even when we're clearly losing. But surrender, when used wisely, is not weakness, it's strategy. Yield today to win tomorrow. When your position is restored, you can strike from a stronger, smarter place. Power is a long game, and those who know when to bend are the ones who never break. Play the patient predator, not the desperate prey. Law 23. Concentrate your forces. In the pursuit of power, energy is everything, but scattered energy achieves nothing. Greene warns against trying to do too many things at once or chasing too many goals. Instead, focus your efforts like a laser beam. When your attention, time, and resources are concentrated on a single goal, your results amplify. Dispersal weakens. Focus wins. This law appears in every powerful empire, business empire, and military campaign. Generals who concentrate their troops on a single point break through defenses. Greene teaches that power is cumulative, and when you spread yourself thin, you lose momentum and fail to build the depth needed to dominate. To apply this, identify your core strengths and goals, and go all in. Eliminate distractions. Say no to minor pursuits, even if they seem attractive. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing less with more intensity. In the power game, those who master the art of concentration rise faster and go farther than those who try to please everyone or chase everything. Law 24. Play the perfect courtier. In any power structure, whether a royal court or a corporate boardroom, the courtier is the person who navigates power with grace, subtlety, and charm. Greene explains that the perfect courtier does not wield power openly, but influences those who do. This law is about mastering the art of indirect power, reading people, managing egos, and understanding how to rise without drawing envy. A skilled courtier flatters without appearing insincere, adapts to any ruler, and influences without ever seeming ambitious. The great courtiers of history didn't succeed by brute force, but by diplomacy and finesse. They listened more than they spoke, absorbed the moods of their masters, and offered solutions in ways that made the powerful feel in control. Knowing how to blend humility with subtle assertiveness is your real advantage. To apply this law, refine your emotional intelligence. Make those in power feel secure, even admired, while subtly steering them in directions that serve your goals. Don't speak too much of your own needs. Frame them in terms of theirs. Master discretion. Avoid drama, competition, or attention-seeking. In the power game, it's not always the loudest voice that wins, but the quiet influence behind the throne. Law 25. Recreate yourself. Power is not about finding your identity, it's about constructing it. Greene emphasizes that powerful people are not merely born, they are crafted. This law teaches that you must reshape yourself like an artist, deliberately designing your character and actions to suit your ambitions. Don't accept the roles society or circumstance hands you. To apply this, begin crafting the person you want others to see. Choose your words, behaviors, even clothing with intention. Decide who you want to be and act the part consistently. Shed old skins that no longer serve you. Don't let others define you. Define yourself, then redefine yourself again. The world watches with shallow eyes. Use that to your advantage. Your image is your armor, your magnet, and your mask, so forge it deliberately. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. In the game of power, appearing blameless is often more important than actually being innocent. Greene teaches that powerful players must protect their reputations by never getting their hands dirty, even when orchestrating ruthless acts. Use scapegoats or plausible deniability to distance yourself from messy outcomes. Let others take the fall while you emerge untarnished. This law has been used for centuries by politicians, CEOs, and even criminals. Powerful people often do what is necessary, but they let someone else deliver the blow. They maintain their image by assigning the execution of harsh decisions to others, like advisors or enforcers. People respect strength, but they follow those who appear moral and clean. To use this law, learn the art of delegation, not just to be efficient, but to shield yourself. Don't let your name be associated with scandal, harsh punishments, or failures. If something must be done that could tarnish you, have it done by others. In power, optics matter. You don't just play the game, you stage manage it. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. People are emotional and deeply hungry for meaning. Greene explains that if you give people purpose, belief, or a cause, they'll follow you almost blindly. This law is about creating an aura so powerful, people surrender their will to yours. Religious leaders, revolutionary thinkers, and charismatic founders have all used this tactic, not just to gain followers, but to build empires. Belief is power, and those who control belief command loyalty. This law tells us to speak with confidence, offer clarity, and give people a mission bigger than themselves. In times of chaos or uncertainty, humans crave guidance. If you position yourself as the one who has the answers, people will rally to you. Greene points out how cult leaders often isolate their followers from external thought, use rituals, and create a we versus them mindset. While this can be used for manipulation, the principle applies more broadly. People want to belong. To use this law ethically or strategically, cultivate your own vision, brand, or mission. Be the source of strength, direction, and meaning. Give people stories, symbols, or slogans they can cling to. If you inspire them, they will follow you through logic, emotion, and even illusion. The most powerful leaders are not just obeyed, they're believed. Law 28. Enter action with boldness. Greene warns us that timidity is dangerous. Hesitation invites doubt, resistance, and failure. In contrast, boldness creates momentum, silences critics, and wins admiration. Those who act confidently, even when unsure, are seen as powerful. The world responds not to the careful planner, but to the decisive executor. If you must step forward, do it with force, go big, go fast, and never reveal hesitation. Throughout history, bold leaders acted with force and vision, pulling others into their gravity. People respect strength and confidence, even when it's built on uncertain foundations. Boldness creates a psychological effect. It causes others to question their own position and gives you the upper hand in negotiations or conflict. To apply this law, banish overthinking. Once you've made a decision, act without delay. Speak with certainty, move with energy, and commit fully. Don't broadcast doubts or wait for a perfect moment. It may never come. Whether you're entering a room, pitching an idea, or facing a rival, go in as if you're already winning. Boldness doesn't guarantee success, but lack of it nearly always guarantees failure. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Many people start projects, relationships, or ventures with enthusiasm, but few see the whole path clearly. Greene teaches that true power lies in anticipating the end game before you even begin. Without a clear destination, you're vulnerable to emotional reactions, surprise obstacles, and manipulation. Power belongs to the strategist who can visualize outcomes and steer events accordingly, one move at a time. Great generals plan battles from the last move backward. Visionary entrepreneurs didn't leave success to chance. They orchestrated it through meticulous foresight. Greene reminds us that if you fail to plan, you're not only risking failure, you're handing over control to others who do have a plan. To implement this law, slow down before you act. Think about every phase of your strategy and envision the possible consequences of each move. What will happen if you win or if you lose? What will your rivals do next? Plan your exit as carefully as your entry. The future belongs to those who design it, not those who stumble into it. As Greene says, the ending is everything. So script it. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. People respect skill, but they worship mastery that appears natural. Greene tells us that true power lies not just in doing great things, but in making them look effortless. When you show your labor, people may envy or dismiss your results. But when you make the difficult look easy, others are awed. They assume you're simply gifted, and that illusion creates admiration and fear. This law is rooted in the traditions of court society and modern branding alike. Dancers, artists, speakers, and CEOs who hide their struggles are revered. In contrast, showing how hard you tried can make you look desperate, insecure, or needy for praise. To use this law, conceal your preparation, master your work in private, but display the final product with poise. If you face setbacks, don't complain publicly, handle problems behind the curtain. Let others wonder how you pull things off so easily. Remember, sweat in silence, shine in public. The less you show, the more they respect. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards. You deal power is not just about domination. It's about framing the situation so others believe they have control. Greene reveals that when you limit people's choices, but make them feel like they're choosing freely, you gain total control. This tactic allows you to guide decisions, influence behavior, and manipulate outcomes without resistance. The illusion of freedom is often more powerful than outright force. Throughout history, rulers and manipulators have used this tactic brilliantly. Politicians offer two policies, both benefiting them. Parents give children two dinner choices, both acceptable. This law is the art of the false choice, and those who master it shape other people's destinies while seeming benevolent. To apply this law, learn to pre-frame situations. Create scenarios where all available options benefit you, then offer them as choices. People hate feeling controlled, so let them believe they're deciding. If they choose, they'll defend their decision, never realizing it was yours all along. In power, the most dangerous weapon is the illusion of freedom. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. Reality is often harsh and mundane, but people crave escape. They want to believe in magic, dreams, and miracles. Greene emphasizes that the most powerful people in history understood how to manipulate desire by offering illusions rather than truth. Whether it was emperors, prophets, or marketers, those who fed fantasies instead of facts won the loyalty, love, and trust of the masses. People are more drawn to emotional stories than cold logic. We see this law in action throughout history. Politicians sell visions of a golden future rather than detailed plans. The lesson? People don't want to hear that life is difficult. They want to believe in something higher. If you can give them that illusion, they'll follow you even over cliffs. To apply this law, understand the emotional needs of your audience. What dream do they secretly long for? Security, beauty, power, hope? Craft your words, stories, and even your silence to mirror that desire. Avoid speaking in harsh realism unless absolutely necessary. The more you can cloak yourself in mystique and promise, the more others will project their desires onto you. Give them dreams, and they will give you their loyalty. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a weakness, a hidden desire, fear, or emotional trigger, and powerful people make it their mission to find it. Greene calls this the thumbscrew, because once you discover it, you can influence, control, or even destroy someone. This law isn't about cruelty. It's about understanding what drives people and using that insight to shape their behavior or protect yourself from theirs. To use this law, become an observer. Listen more than you speak. People often reveal their weaknesses indirectly, through what they brag about, complain about, or avoid. Does someone crave recognition, fear loneliness, obsess over legacy? These are your keys. Napoleon knew what motivated his generals: praise, gold, or revenge, and used it to win their absolute loyalty. In modern times, great negotiators know the personal value behind the deal. Once you discover the thumbscrew, don't flaunt it. Use it subtly and only when needed. Understanding someone's inner world gives you power over their outer behavior. When you find what people truly want or fear, you don't need to force them. They will guide themselves into your hands. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. People treat you the way you present yourself. If you act with self-respect, dignity, and quiet confidence, others will assume you're important, even if you're not yet. Greene urges us to cultivate an inner sense of royalty. Walk with presence, speak with purpose, and never appear desperate. Power respects power, and when you carry yourself like a king or queen, others adjust their behavior accordingly. History is full of individuals who rose not from birthright, but from bold self-presentation. Catherine the Great took command of a foreign empire through royal poise. Leaders like Nelson Mandela, even in prison, commanded dignity that influenced global opinion. To use this law, eliminate needy behavior. Don't chase approval or flaunt insecurity. Speak less, but with clarity. Dress well. Say no with grace. Maintain your boundaries. Over time, people will treat you with respect, not because you demand it, but because you radiate it. Power begins in the posture of your mind, and others can feel it long before you speak a word. Law 35. Master the art of timing. Greene warns that timing is everything in the pursuit of power. Even a great plan, executed at the wrong moment, can collapse. Powerful people don't rush, don't panic, and don't show impatience. They act only when the conditions are perfect, and make it seem like destiny itself is on their side. This law teaches you to align your actions with momentum, cycles, and the emotional rhythms of others. Timing requires patience and observation. You must know when to strike, when to wait, and when to withdraw. Julius Caesar didn't rush to cross the Rubicon. He waited until the Senate was vulnerable. In negotiations, skilled players wait until their opponent is desperate. Even in personal life, knowing when to speak or stay silent can mean the difference between influence and irritation. To apply this law, cultivate patience like a muscle. Slow your reactions. Study trends, people, and energy. Don't push forward in chaos. Let others make mistakes while you stay calm. Then, when the moment is right, move with speed and clarity. Law 36. Dismiss what you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Robert Greene reveals that obsessing over what you can't have only gives it power over you. The strongest people do not waste energy on envy or frustration. Instead, they disdain what's beyond their reach, acting as if it doesn't matter. This calm detachment robs rivals of satisfaction and frustrates their efforts. Sometimes, the best way to defeat an enemy or a challenge is simply to ignore it altogether. In everyday life, people who fixate on status, possessions, or grudges only weaken themselves. The truly powerful don't chase after things that aren't meant for them. They focus on what they can control and let the rest fade into irrelevance. To practice this law, develop emotional discipline. When faced with jealousy or desire, ask yourself, is this worth my attention? If not, turn your focus elsewhere. Show indifference publicly. This unsettles opponents and elevates your stature. Ignoring means you don't feed the fire. In power, absence of reaction is often the sharpest blade. Law 37. Make your presence unforgettable. Power thrives on attention and awe. And Greene teaches that grand, memorable displays can elevate your status instantly. Whether through impressive gestures, lavish ceremonies, or dramatic statements, a spectacle captures the imagination and makes people sit up and take notice. History's great rulers and leaders knew that people are swayed not just by logic, but by emotions stirred through theatrical power. Today, CEOs launch products with elaborate events, politicians use grand speeches, and social media influencers create viral moments. These spectacles build your myth and legend, making you appear larger than life and unforgettable. To apply this law, think about how you can turn your actions into a performance. Make your presence striking, dress uniquely, speak confidently, use visual symbols, or stage your achievements. It doesn't mean being fake. It means amplifying your power through showmanship. When done well, spectacle isn't just entertainment. It's a strategic tool to command respect and influence perception. Law 38. Think as you like but behave like others. Greene highlights a paradox. You must guard your independent thinking, but never openly challenge social norms unless you want to be attacked. True power lies in knowing when to blend in and when to stand out. Being too different or rebellious too soon invites opposition, while carefully hidden originality can thrive and grow beneath the surface. Great leaders often mask radical ideas behind conventional appearances. In business or politics, expressing dissenting views too boldly can alienate allies. Instead, Greene suggests adapt your outward behavior to fit in with your environment while quietly cultivating your unique vision. This duality keeps you safe and effective, allowing your ideas to take root without triggering unnecessary conflict. Power requires discretion as much as brilliance. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch. Fish, chaos, and confusion unsettle people's minds and cloud judgment, and Greene advises that sometimes creating a little turmoil is the smartest way to gain power. When you stir up emotions, opponents become reckless, defensive, or panicked. This distraction gives you the chance to move with greater freedom and surprise. Like a fisherman disturbing water to flush out fish, you provoke reaction to catch your prey off guard. History shows this tactic repeatedly. During political upheavals, cunning leaders ignite scandals or rumors to divide opposition and seize control. In business, competitors who keep rivals guessing often dominate markets. However, this law must be used carefully. Too much chaos can backfire and alienate allies, so it requires skillful timing and subtlety. To use this law, learn to introduce uncertainty without destroying stability. Ask provocative questions, spread doubt, or highlight contradictions quietly. Watch how your opponents react. Sometimes their overreaction is the opening you need. Remember, in turbulent waters, the boldest and smartest survive and often thrive. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Robert Greene teaches that everything valuable has a price, and accepting something for free often puts you in a subtle trap. When someone offers a gift or favor without clear cost, it usually creates hidden obligations or lowers your perceived worth. Powerful people avoid being indebted or cheapening themselves by always paying their way or refusing handouts. History is filled with examples. Courtiers who accepted lavish gifts from rulers often became pawns, tied by invisible chains of gratitude or manipulation. In business, free samples or favors can bind you into unfavorable deals later. Greene argues that true power lies in maintaining independence, whether financial, emotional, or social. The more you owe, the less free you are. To use this law, always value yourself and your resources. Politely refuse free offers that could limit your freedom or reputation. Invest in yourself with time, money, or effort to build genuine authority. Remember, paying your own way sends a message of strength and self-reliance, making you less vulnerable to others' control. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. When you succeed a powerful predecessor, Greene warns, don't try to copy or outshine them immediately. You risk unfavorable comparisons and backlash. The legacy they left is often too large or sacred for others to easily fill. Instead, carve your own path and identity, gradually building your reputation rather than rushing into the shadow of giants. Alexander the Great's successors struggled because they tried to imitate his conquests instead of creating their own legacy. In business, new CEOs who overhaul everything at once after a popular leader often alienate staff and customers. By respecting what came before but adding your unique touch, you earn respect and reduce resistance. To apply this law, study your predecessor carefully. Learn from their mistakes and strengths, but avoid mimicking them outright. Highlight your individuality and vision, and introduce changes slowly. This patience allows you to build your own throne instead of living under someone else's shadow. Power grows from originality, not imitation. Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Greene explains that problems often arise from a single influential figure, a leader, instigator, or influencer, who controls or manipulates a group. To dismantle resistance or rebellion, target that key person. Remove or neutralize the shepherd, and the followers will lose direction and disperse. This law is a direct strategy for handling opposition efficiently. History provides vivid examples. When a rebellious general or political agitator was eliminated, their supporters often crumbled. This tactic is used in politics, business, and even social groups. Instead of confronting every opponent, focus your energy on the central figure causing trouble. To use this law, identify the main source of opposition or tension. Study their networks, influence, and vulnerabilities. Then act decisively, whether through negotiation, persuasion, or more forceful means, to remove that person's power base. After the shepherd falls, the rest become manageable. This law teaches the value of strategic focus over scattered effort. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. Power is not just about force or manipulation, it's also about winning genuine loyalty and affection. Greene stresses the importance of appealing to people's emotions, values, and desires. When you connect on a heartfelt level, people follow you willingly, defend you passionately, and support your goals sincerely. Leaders like Abraham Lincoln are remembered not just for strategy, but for their empathy and ability to inspire. Brands that build emotional bonds with customers create lifelong loyalty. You don't need to be fake. Authenticity mixed with thoughtful consideration touches people's hearts and builds durable influence. To apply this law, invest in relationships. Listen deeply, show respect, and acknowledge others' feelings and needs. Use stories, praise, and encouragement to inspire trust. This emotional work creates allies who stay with you through thick and thin. True power moves hearts first, and minds follow naturally. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Robert Greene reveals a powerful psychological tool, the mirror effect, which involves reflecting your opponent's behavior, attitudes, or emotions back at them. By mimicking their actions subtly, you confuse and unsettle them. They struggle to understand your intentions and lose their usual advantage. This technique can disarm aggression and expose weaknesses without direct confrontation. Historical examples include generals who copied enemy tactics to throw them off balance. In social situations, mirroring body language builds rapport, while imitating an adversary's tactics can frustrate and anger them, making them rash or careless. This law teaches the value of calm control and strategic imitation to gain upper hand without escalating conflict. To use the mirror effect, observe your opponent carefully, notice their tone, gestures, or moves, and reflect them back in a measured way. Don't copy blatantly. Subtlety is key. This creates psychological discomfort and sometimes forces them to reveal their true intentions. When used wisely, mirroring can be your secret weapon to gain control effortlessly. Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform. Too much at once, change is necessary for growth, but Greene cautions that too much change too fast creates fear and resistance. People naturally cling to familiar routines and traditions. Leaders who push sweeping reforms often provoke backlash and lose support. Instead, introduce changes gradually and prepare people emotionally for transitions. Famous leaders who failed this law include those who tried radical reforms without building consensus, resulting in revolts or loss of power. On the other hand, those who balance innovation with respect for the past, like Queen Elizabeth I, manage smooth transitions and lasting success. The key is timing and psychology, not just logic. To apply this law, plan your changes carefully, communicate benefits clearly, acknowledge fears, and implement reforms step by step. Gain small wins and build momentum slowly. This way, you maintain stability while moving forward. Powerful leadership balances vision with patience and respect for human nature. Law 46. Never appear too perfect. Greene advises that appearing flawless can breed envy and hostility. When you seem too perfect, others feel insecure or resentful, and they may seek ways to undermine you. Power is better maintained by showing some flaws, enough to seem human, relatable, and not a direct threat. Historical figures like Napoleon made enemies partly because their brilliance seemed untouchable. In social or professional settings, people are more comfortable around those who seem approachable and imperfect. To follow this law, avoid boasting or flaunting success excessively. Share small weaknesses or admit mistakes strategically. This doesn't mean undermining yourself. Rather, it's about managing perceptions to reduce envy. Perfect is dangerous. Relatable is powerful. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, learn when to stop. One of the most important lessons Greene shares is knowing when to stop pushing forward after success. Overreaching, trying to gain more than you can handle, often leads to downfall. Many powerful people have ruined themselves by becoming greedy or reckless after a big win. Knowing your limits and consolidating power is a mark of true wisdom. For example, in business or negotiations, pressing too hard can break alliances or provoke retaliation. Sometimes, walking away with what you've won is the smartest move. To apply this law, set clear goals and celebrate achievements. Don't let ambition blind you to risks. After success, pause, regroup, and strengthen your position before moving forward again. The greatest power lies in self-control and knowing when enough is enough. Law 48. Assume formlessness. The final law teaches ultimate adaptability. Be like water, formless and unpredictable. Proper plans and fixed identities make you vulnerable to attack and failure. When you can shift shapes, tactics, and moods effortlessly, you stay ahead of opponents who are stuck in their ways. In life and power, this means constantly evolving, learning, and adjusting without becoming trapped by one style or idea. Flexibility is survival and dominance. To practice this law, avoid attachment to any one strategy or person. Observe changing circumstances and respond accordingly. Be willing to change your opinions, methods, and appearances to suit the moment. Congratulations! You've reached the end of this deep dive into the 48 laws of power. If you found these insights valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Strategic Sage for more powerful wisdom. Remember, power isn't just about control, it's about understanding people, timing, and strategy. Use these laws wisely and watch how your world changes.